A tense and heated room last night as the Ingham County Law and Courts Committee and concerned residents spoke out about multiple investigations into Ingham County animal control after the bust of a dogfighting ring last year in Lansing. Animal Control Director Dinon was given a chance to answer questions and explain himself. News 10's Alani Latang was at that meeting.
David, I've been working this story for a few weeks with dozens of medical records, testimony from several shelter staff workers, and hundreds of emails from people involved in the care of the dogs in question. As you may recall, I interviewed Director Dinon a few weeks ago, but several of his claims at last night's meeting didn't add up.
Scully, Jonah, and BB were the three dogs who became thin. I want it noted that the word emaciated has a clinical definition of having lost 50% of their body weight or more. None of these dogs were ever emaciated.
That was Dinon at the meeting talking about 3 of those dogs. His explanation was very different than that of a licensed veterinarian. Dr. Joyce Heidman of Southside Animal Hospital wrote in her medical report for Jonah, "This dog is extremely emaciated and due to muscle loss appears to have been this way for a while." Dinon went on to say that he did evaluations of the dogs on March 10th.
And none of us noticed that those dogs were thin. So I should say those dogs were not thin, or we would have noticed that.
However, in a complaint form News 10 obtained, Animal Control Officer Caitlin Bazinski clearly states back on February 12th that the dogs appeared skinny and underweight. Almost 2 weeks later, another report. Dogs still appeared very skinny. And when Dinon explained to the committee why they lost so much weight,
they were sent to the outside vets on March 26th and 27th. So a little over 2 weeks later, they had lost appreciable weight. So they declined very quickly due to this whipworm infestation. And it's not only the whipworms, it's that animals in an animal shelter are under stress. They're in an unfamiliar environment.
However, reports from Dr. Heidman said whipworm would not cause this level of emaciation. Dinon moving on to talk about Dreamville, who was euthanized. A shelter veterinarian and Dinon said the dog became too hard to handle to get an x-ray. The Michigan Humane Society report stated Dreamville resulted in unnecessary suffering and an x-ray would have helped to decide the treatment. Dinon's response in the meeting:
"Knowing what I know now with the benefit of 20/20 hindsight, I wish we had euthanized the dog earlier." And I don't disagree with the Michigan Humane report that dog suffered. And I'm an animal lover and I have to live with that. And when I see that picture of him, it is hurtful to me that I was partly responsible for that.
However, in an interview several weeks ago, a different answer.
The x-ray would have just been too much on the dog, because it's saying that if you had that x-ray, maybe the outlook would have been different.
I disagree. Like I said, taking him to do the x-ray would have been very difficult, and the information we would have gained from it would have been impossible to act on. If it would have said he had a foreign body, it would have just confirmed what we already believed.
And when concerns brought up about outside vets and what medical history they had on dogs, the committee questioned Dinon on protocol.
Outside of this, do you inform the vet of their care?
Typically, when we send them out for a cruelty exam,
any type of review by an outside veterinarian?
They should get the vet records so that they know the status of the animal and the history and what's going on with it. I would say it's more normal to provide records than to not.
But when we asked Dinon that same question just a few weeks ago, a different answer.
So why weren't those medical records transferred over?
To Southside?
Yes.
If Southside had requested them, we would have sent them the records.
Is that not something you do immediately when you send them to an outside veterinarian?
No.
Why not?
We just sent them for an assessment of the dogs and a treatment recommendation. And they, like I said, had they requested the medical records, we would have sent them.
We did reach out to Director Dinon, and at this time he told us he has no comment. I will stay on top of this story and let you know of any updates.
All right, Alani, thank you very much.